Hey guys, thought I'd show you an idea that I work with to help keep your chain sharp or longer. Now if you notice the pattern of cutting I did there, I'm working with pulling the bark off. So I'm going to cut the video here. We're going to go to another tree and I want to show you something. Okay, this is a soft maple I cut earlier today. And I thought I'd take advantage of showing you something pretty common, not uncommon, right? To find these trees that are doubles, triples. You know, we've seen them 4 or 5 stems, right, in one stump where they split. And if you've cut wood much and you cut into this, call it what you want, right? This black stuff, you'll find it's going to dull your chain pretty quickly. It's noticeable. And over the years, I've kind of quizzed folks, you know, what is it that's, you know, why does it dull your chain like that? And I've heard folks say, oh, that dead wood, that rotten wood in there, that'll take the edge right off your chain. And I thought, it's still wood. If it's just wood, then, you know, why would it be dulling the chain? So I don't think it's the dead wood that's dulling the chain, okay? This soft maple here, all right, I'll try to flip it around. We've seen, I should put up a couple pictures. This soft maple's been growing here roughly 100 years, plus or minus. There's actually a stone wall just below us. This was all pasture land. So think about this tree here was only 4 feet tall, right? When it started to grow into 2 trees. So for 100 years, the fork in this tree has been gathering dust. And that, I believe, is what takes the edge right off your chain when you cut into these forked trees like that. For 100 years, the dust in the air gets kind of collected on the trees. We can't see it. It's almost, you could almost call it microscopic, if you will, or some other term essentially meaning that, in the sense that in between the rainstorms, that dust kind of clings to the trees as the wind goes by. It rains and it washes that dust down the tree. Now, on the outside, it's not as obvious, so I think a lot of folks don't pay it much mind. But when they fork like this, think of it, it's basically like a funnel. And for 100 years, it's been catching that fine, fine dust. And when we put our saw to it, it doesn't damage the chain, but you can definitely look, if you look at your teeth after you've cut into that, it's like your cutting edges are almost polished. It'll take that I want to cut wood feel away from the chain. So just here's the tip. Okay, on this type of a tree, if you look, and I'll try to get this, show you right here, when I cut that seam so the tree will fall, I don't cut right into the seam, I cut beside it. Okay, so my chain is actually cutting into, you can see here, the chain is cutting fresh wood. When the tree grows like this, in those triple, you know, these multiple stump trees like that, they very common, you're going to have some crown weight that will pull that seam apart. It'll help you. It's a forward lean on the tree. So I do everything I can to not have my chain into that black stuff. I will even, if it doesn't come apart with that, I'll make a cut, and I've driven wedges into them to give you that wedging effect, to try to get that to pull apart so I keep my chain out of that black stuff. Let's go back to the pine stump. So here we are back at the pine stump, and if you back the tape up, right, and now kind of a heads up on that, follow the pattern of cutting, I'm doing basically the same idea. I'm always treating the bottom of the tree as if there's dirt in it. And there actually is. This coarse bark, right? This tree has been here just as long as that soft maple. I haven't counted them. I'm sure it's over 100 years old. 100 years of that dust being washed down the tree, and this bark, especially if it's that coarse kind of bark tree, right? That really, really fine dust is all collected around the base of the tree. So I do everything I can to keep the chain pulling the bark off, and you notice I haven't touched it. I mean, that's all I did right there, right? And the top of the stump is going to be basically nice and clean. It's one of those things when I see other folks doing the back bar type of back cut, where you're going in and coming back, where your cutter teeth are going into the bark and dragging that really fine dust through your cut, right? You know, it's not that noticeable in the sense that it's not like your chain just stops cutting, but it does make a difference. And if it's something, you know, a new idea, I'd give you, you know, just an idea to try it. And I think you'll find that if you've kind of been back barring the back cuts, try it the other way around. And I believe you'll notice how much longer your chain will stay sharp. And especially those fork trees, you know, keep them out of that collection, that little catch basin there of that dust. Hope that helps, guys. Be safe out there.